In the beginning of 2021, it seems like so long ago, but that was just 2 years ago when I'm recording this podcast, of course. And as a business owner, I was burnt out, constantly creating content every day. I did lives every day, did posts and stories on Instagram, on Zoom calls. And I know you felt the same way because everyone did. Flash forward to 2 years. It is October 29th, 2023, when I'm recording this, and everyone's just zoomed and screened out. And I knew then in 2021, if I was feeling this way, others were. And I knew that I did not want to be dependent on social media, creating constant content like a machine, because I'm not a machine. I'm a human being who is meant to live. So I knew I had to do something different in my business. And I looked into Google SEO because I realized my ideal clients were searching for specific keywords to find me, like woman of color business coach. And I thought to myself, hey, if people are looking for someone like me, what if I just made it so easy for them? So my solution, looking for a Google SEO strategist. And I was introduced to my secret weapon, my SEO strategist, Andres Agüero. 2 years later, now in 2023, I'm not posting, doing stories every day. I actually just bought a home, moved in. I'll tell you more about that in a future podcast episode. And I can enjoy my weekends social media free without this need of posting my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And when you Google these keywords, woman of color business coach, WOC business coach for women of color, and business coach for WOC, guess who's number one? That's right, your girl, me, Elaine Lucartes. I am number one on Google organically after Google ads. In fact, Google SEO is our second source of income. About 23% of our income comes from Google SEO. My number one source of income is still referrals and renewals. I just knew I had to diversify, just like we do for retirement. And it's not all about me. It's actually, I want you to obviously benefit from this episode. So you are going to learn how you can be number one on Google SEO too. And you're going to want to listen to this episode to take notes. All right, let's drop the beat. Hey, I'm Elaine Lucartes. I'm a business and career coach for women of color and allies. LA Weekly awarded me the number one thought leader, and Apple News named me one of the top 5 business coaches. Going through an identity crisis, professionally or personally? Well, get ready to have some conscious conversations. Now grab your coffee, tea, or boba, and let's color your dreams too. Lead your legacy.
Hey, legacy makers. I really don't want to do this episode because you're going to kind of know my secret sauce to my business. And that's doing Google SEO with Andres. So I'm excited to have him here. We'll be sharing the behind the scenes of my 1000% ROI using Google SEO. So Andres will be sharing some secret sauce, not all, to all of you. So Andres, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Elaine. I'm excited to do this podcast with you.
Yeah. So first off, basics. Just in case, because, it's a TikTok world right now, right? This is 2023 when we're recording. What is Google SEO? Just want to go back to the basics. What is it?
Yeah. So, it's funny because I think a lot of business owners are starting to get educated and learning what SEO is. Like yesterday, I had a call from one of my high school friends and he was telling me, what do you do? What is SEO? And I told him, because he has a brand new website that he's working on. And I told him, look, building a website is just one thing. You need traffic in there. A website's not going to do anything for you if you're not getting visitors in there. And so SEO is one of the ways to get traffic into your website. The way SEO works is, you have a business, you want to get leads to that specific website, and SEO is the process of getting your website ranking for specific keywords relating to the services you sell. So that in a nutshell is what SEO is.
Search engine optimization. I mean, kind of think of it. The reason why I went to Andres was twofold. One, as a user of Google, is I'm looking for a hotel in Santa Barbara and I'm bougie. So I put in luxury Santa Barbara hotel. I'm like, wait, hold on. If I'm Googling for a really nice hotel in Santa Barbara, someone's probably Googling a woman of color business coach or a woman of color career coach or a woman of color executive leadership coach. And what's interesting at the time when I was just Googling for a hotel, I started hearing patterns from people who are outside of referrals, right? So majority of my business is still referrals, about 60%. And the people that found me on Instagram, social media, or even Google were like, I was looking for a woman of color business coach. And at the time, when you typed it, my Instagram handle actually was one of the top 3, not my website. It was my Instagram handle. And Monica Schrock, who many of you know that are listening, my marketing strategist, I just asked her, like, do you know like a Google SEO person? And then she introduced me to Andres. And you could Google it. Like, if you need some receipts and you don't believe me, search Woman of Color Business Coach, WOC Business Coach for Women of Color, Business Coach for WOC. After all the ads, I am number 1 because I am competitive as an Asian. And Andres, how dare you? Before I hit record, he was like, I was in another podcast and I was the top downloaded. I was like, Andres, why do you got to do this? But it's thanks to Andres. I mean, it's a powerful source, but I'll be honest, and I let people know, I think it took 8 months until I started seeing a return. Like, it is a long game. It's like being healthy, right? It's the new year when I'm recording this. We want to lose 5 or 10 pounds, but it's not going to happen overnight. So anything you want to share on just like, what is the benefits of SEO for people that are not used to it? Because we're so marketed with social media, but not about SEO.
Yeah. So SEO is definitely a long-term game. And I think, if you put yourself in a business shoes, you don't want a brand new website to outrank you within the first month, right? By just optimizing keywords or gaining backlinks. Like, that's not the way SEO work. And that's not the way SEO should work, right? It takes time for Google to recognize you as the authority within the industry. And so, the approach that I take in mind and that I tell prospective clients is, look, Google wants to rank the best websites. And if you want to be able to rank number 1 for the terms that you want, then we need to take that approach. We need to be the best when it comes to the user experience, the content that's being built out, the backlinks that are being attained, and the technical SEO and the optimizing the pages for the right keywords. That's really what it really takes in order to drive traffic to a specific website and driving leads for those keywords that a business wants to rank for within the first pages of Google. But yeah, it is definitely a long-term game. And I think we live in a day of age where, we want fast-paced things.
Amazon Prime Life, yes.
Exactly. And I'm very impatient myself. But, once you start ranking for those keywords you want and you start seeing the leads come in, then it's worth the pay at the end, because you waited for Google to classify you as the authority. And now you're on page 1 for the keywords that people are searching up on a day-to-day basis.
And here's why I wanted to add Google SEO into my marketing plan, right? I'm not solely reliant on it, but it's part of the holistic marketing plan. You can listen to that other episode I did with Monica on how I became less dependent on social media. But that was it. I was feeling stressed and burned out. Being a content machine, constantly feeding onto Instagram, Facebook, all these social media platforms, and your website, you own that website. And it's January 20th. I kind of shared with you, but like I have 18 sales calls scheduled with ideal clients. And when you kind of think of the psychology behind it, people search on Google, like me looking for a Santa Barbara hotel. I know what I want, right? I want a luxurious Santa Barbara hotel. People on Facebook and Instagram, me included, I use it to numb myself, to entertain myself with other memes, like dog memes, cat memes, or panda memes. Like it's a beautiful distraction, but I don't want to work with people who want to be distracted. I want to work with people who are intentional. So Andres, how did you get into Google SEO? What's your background? What made you see the power of SEO?
Yeah. So I originally started out as a web developer, and I was making websites as a child in high school. And then I decided to pursue a career. I went to a university here in Orange County, and, I got a degree in web graphic design. And then I ended up getting a job for this business who did marketing, SEO marketing for small brick and mortar locations. And at the time, I had no idea what SEO was. And, it was this brand new thing that people were doing. And a lot has changed since then, but more or less Google has gotten more smarter about what websites they rank on page one. But that's kind of how I got into SEO. I started learning, started building my own websites and started to track the traffic, within Google Analytics. And then I started selling websites for the traffic that they were getting through affiliate websites. And I was just really hungry growing up and started getting, jobs for marketing agencies, learning from people who were smarter than me. And it kind of just transitioned into what I do now, where it's kind of, I have my own business and I do SEO consultancy for a lot of businesses who are trying to dominate search rankings across the United States. And I think right now we're still early stages. Like last year, I think that a lot more people are educated about SEO. And I think within the next coming years, I think SEO is going to be a lot more competitive than what it is right now. But that's originally how I got into SEO.
So I know you can't share all of your secrets when it comes to SEO. So for those folks who want to get into Google SEO, maybe 1 or 3 tips and advice that they can do for their own website. And then obviously, if they want the full course and learn everything, they go contact you and hire you. So any tips and advice?
Yeah, I would say focus on your website first. Obviously, you're not going to be able to get leads if your website is not up to par. Like when you came in, Elaine, you had already done a lot of work on your website. You were featured in a lot of publications. And that shows that, your website has already been active. You're doing everything in terms of marketing yourself. And that's what allowed us to see those results quickly is because you already had a name to yourself. So that would be one of my main things that a business should focus on first. Everything else is really creating content around the industry. So if you want to be able to rank for specific keywords, you want to look to see who currently ranks for that and look to see what kind of content those specific websites are creating. Because one of the things Google looks at when trying to rank a website is who's the topical authority within the industry. And, you may know you're the best when it comes to coaching for women of color, but Google doesn't that. But Google doesn't know that, right? And one of the ways they look at is to see who is the best is they look to see who has the most helpful content around that specific industry. And so that's one of the other things that I would focus on. And then the third thing I would focus on is just optimizing, your pages for the keywords that you want to rank for. Yeah. In a nutshell, I think those are the 3 main things that I would really focus on if you're not ready to kind of go full in on an SEO agency or consultancy, etc.
Legacy leader, I know what you're thinking. Elaine, you have such good stuff here. I want more. So if you want more tips and advice for your business, career, and life, sign up for my Gifts and Gifts newsletter at elainelu.com/join. That's JOIN. And here's 3 things you'll get when you join, because I'm like Santa Claus. I love giving. Number 1, funny gifts, because who doesn't love memes and pop culture references? This newsletter is so fetch. Number 2, receive actionable gifts. That's business, career, and life tips that you can start doing today. Third, the gift of me. Not only do you get my wins, but also my failures, my reflections. My Gifts and Gifts newsletter is like an up-to-date diary. Think Zanga or Life Journal for my fellow millennials, where I share vulnerable stories, relatable mistakes, and important life tips like what to watch on Netflix, like when's the next Bridgerton season. So if you're ready for those fun gifts and actionable gifts to create a more sustainable life, then join my newsletter at elainelu.com/join. That's JOIN. All right, let's get back to the episode.
I like the first tip that you shared in terms of I was already established. I mean, been in media having clients. What I want folks to understand, like, this is not a magic bullet. It's not like, okay, I'm going to lose 15 pounds in the next day. You actually have to build your business, not necessarily in just money and authority and names, but Andres and I joked around about this in one of the sessions that we did was you actually have to be damn good at what you do. Because if you're not, there are something called reviews, and people could write reviews about you. Like you could go check my Google page, go to elainelu.com/Google. Like I have 5-star reviews, even on LinkedIn, even on Yelp, like how you treat your clients and their results. It's not just the results, but the client satisfaction and their results will lead you to continue getting more clients. It's kind of like referrals. So if you're already doing so well with your clients and strangers, cold traffic sees that, it's easier for them to trust you. Anything you want to add to that, Andres, as I share that?
Yeah, exactly. Like good SEO won't solve for a bad product or service. So you can spend millions of dollars on, fixing, doing SEO or PPC advertising. But if the product's not good, people aren't going to come back to your site. People aren't going to engage with the content you create. And those are other things that Google looks at to see whether your website is authoritative or not.
Yes. And then I do appreciate about the content, Bree, so content creations. Like if you can even look at my blog, go to elainelu.com/blog. They're very intentional in terms of making sure I'm creating content that my other competitors are talking about, but writing it in a way that is obviously for me. So it's very strategic in the blog post that I'm doing, as opposed to even this podcast. This podcast is more freestyle, if that makes sense. But it was actually Andres, if you remember, you shared that with me, like, Elaine, a lot of your competitors have podcasts. And when I was feeling burnt out about creating social media content, I was like, I want to do a podcast. Not because Andres told me to do it, by the way. I want to make it very clear. It's because I wanted to. And then Andres validated. But Andres, go ahead. You can share publicly. You can share I told you so. That's fine.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that goes back to what I said initially is I take the approach that, if we want to be able to rank number 1, then we need to be the best. And one of the things that I looked at, especially when working together, is looking to see what are the things that people have on their website that you don't have on your website? And the podcast was one of them. And so I made that recommendation. Like, look, if you indeed want to be able to be number 1, we need to have this. And you already knew. So I validated what you thought. And
he said, I told you so, guys.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately it's that approach of being the best.
And the third thing you were saying was the words, like what keywords you want to show for. I know so often people, like, for example, I'm a coach. I know majority of listeners here are not coaches. You are all leaders within your own companies that you work for or you've created. But I've seen a lot of people in the industry saying, I don't want to use the word coach. I want to use the word guide or this or that. And I completely understand. If that's what you feel aligned to, that's what you feel aligned to. But the reality is when people are searching, like I'm searching for a house cleaner versus fairy duster. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know that's a really creative name, but people are searching for this. So what's important is hearing, what is your audience searching for? What are they looking for? What's the content they want to create? I mean, I really didn't want to do this podcast episode with Andres. I was like, no, he's going to dump me because he's going to get so many clients after this episode. But that was actually one of the things that a lot of my clients and community members have been asking. Hey, who's your Google SEO guy? I want to learn more about it. I'm like, fine. I'll create a podcast episode. I will share Andres to the world because I am so giving. I'm a saint, But Andres, if you can't tell, we have like such a great sibling relationship. Can you share, I know you can't share clients that you've worked with, but can you share the type of industries that you've worked for and even results that you've seen from your clients? You don't have to give names, but in a general sense.
Right. So I work with clients in wide ranges of different industries, ranging from e-commerce, B2B, software companies, local businesses. And so results, I mean, there's on my website, you can see all of the results.
What's your website? Say it.
Strategyinteractiveagency.com is my website. So right there, I have a full list of case studies of websites that I've helped rank and revenue numbers as well. Like this e-commerce company, they're a jewelry company. And when I started working with them, they were at 1.3 million in annual sales. Fast forward to today, they're at 3.9 million in sales. And so tripled the amount of revenue that specific jewelry.
And that's all organic. That's without Google ads? Just asking, or is it a mix of the two? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to Google Andres. How come not do that for me? Huh? Where's my 3 mil for the year? I'm kidding.
Well, these are different industries. This is an so different situations. I got you 1,000 ROI. What do you mean?
I know it is January 20th when I'm recording it. I've had 18 sales calls scheduled with alliance clients. And mind you, it's not like I accept clients accept all of them. I also go through my own process of making sure I'm working with clients who are the right fit for me. So just want to also share that. I would love to get your insight because everyone's talking about AI, ChatGPT. Results came off of Google that they lost money and TikTok's like the new search engine for the next generation. So should that be concerning? Would love to hear your perspective, especially since you do Google SEO.
Yeah, I think that we're in the early days of AI. I think that, at some point in the future, I think the world will be run by AI to a certain capacity. And I don't know, I don't have a crystal ball to know when that will happen, but I think we're in really early stages. From what I've done research on is that, there are websites who are using AI like bankrate.com, which is a really known website out there. They're using these ChatGPT AI tools. And one of my other clients who is in the augmented reality niche, they're using these to come up with content. And I think it's helpful, right? I think it helps speed up the process of writing content. My opinion on this is to not fully rely on it, meaning like AI is good, but you want to have human eyes revising and editing it. So that way it makes sense to the front end user. So that's my approach. That's my thought process currently on this AI. I don't know what the future will look like. I don't know if Google will eventually figure out how ChatGPT is using, this technology. And I don't know if Google will deem websites that fully rely on these AI tools. But as of right now, there are websites who are using these AI tools to help develop content.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm hearing is like, this is the reality of where we're at. And two, can't wholly rely on it. It's like the episode that I've done with Monica on holistic marketing. Like I don't solely rely on Google SEO. It's part of my holistic marketing, but it's up to me as a business owner as well as my team to make sure we have a great service. And with that, that's why I continue to get referrals. And Google SEO is a great counterpart and ally with that. So I love ending episodes with what is one tip or advice? Yeah. What is one tip and reflective question you have with our listeners when it comes to Google SEO?
One tip when it comes to Google SEO is just take that approach of being the best and be competitive. And if you don't have that competitive mindset, then I don't think SEO is for you, because if you really want to rank number one you have to have that self-confidence that you are the best in the services that you provide.
Yeah. And also, sorry, I'm a coach. Be the best that you can be. One, but two, even being the best in looking at, okay, am I really providing the best for my clients? Is this a great service? Where do I need to work on this? I was really vulnerable with Andres last year in 2022, where a client left and I had to ask myself, okay, why did they leave? What do I need to work on? What systems do I need to put into place? How can I make sure I am there for my clients? It was a very humbling experience. So not just best in a sense of like number one in Google, but like best in, are you truly delivering the best for your clients as well? So because people are going to fall in love with you, and I just want to remind you, and we're going to have this recorded, you're not leaving me. If people want to work with you, how can they find you?
Right. So you can find me on my website. So if you want to get in touch with me, go to my website, strategyinteractiveagency.com, and you can schedule time with me there, or you can reach out to Elaine so that you can get introduced to me directly. And yeah, we can take it from there. I can learn more about the business and see if SEO is right for you, because there's, SEO is not a one size fits all solution. And this is important to tell everyone, your listeners. It's each SEO is unique in terms of what keywords you want to rank for, and how competitive the industry is for those specific keywords. And so, if you want to be able to rank for engagement rings, that's going to be much more competitive versus ranking for something else. I don't know, whatever it may be. And so that's where a lot of the scope of work comes in, whether we need a lot of work to do what you want to see in terms of keyword rankings or not. So, but yeah, if you want to get in touch with me and learn more and do a custom strategy session, then, contact me on my website.
And Andres is booked. He can't take any more clients. And I see, I'm not saying that you don't contact him because he's booked, but it's a good problem to have. He's booked. And I think it's so sweet because he shared with me that you're going to be bringing in your sister as a team member. And that's just such beautiful legacy building to bring in family members. Congrats,
right.
Andres.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So I'm going to be bringing in a family member as of next week, because again, like you said, I'm booked. I just had an influx amount of people reaching out to me, but I think it's just, showcase that providing good work will lead to you like seeing these kinds of results. And so, but yeah, as of right now, I'm fully booked, but, hoping in February or March of 2023, things will open back up and we'll be ready to roll.
Congrats. Thank you for everything. I appreciate you. And contact Andres or email me if you're interested in working with Andres, and I'll connect both of you. Thank you, Andres.
Thanks, Elaine.
Just so you know, I recorded this podcast episode about 10 months ago from when I'm finally releasing it. I know, I'm sorry, I kept the goods to myself, but now I'm finally sharing it. And I want to give you personal updates about Andres. Well, him and his wife just bought a home and they're expecting their first child. And I just want to celebrate Andres's hard work. It's just a reflection of how great he is. Honestly, I am so grateful that he is a part of my team. And if you loved this episode on how you don't have to be on all the time and how to attract your ideal clients through Google, then I would love for you to do 4 things if you feel called to do them. Number 1, share this with a friend. Send them a personal message on how this episode can help them attract ideal clients where they don't have to be on like a machine, because we ain't meant to be machines, and how they could rate higher on Google. 2, don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe button so you can get alerted when we have a new episode every Thursday. In fact, feel free right after this episode to go back to the app on whatever you're listening to and hit follow and subscribe. Third, if you feel called to, leave a 5-star rating and review for the Color Your Dreams podcast. We don't have advertisers or commercials, if you notice, but we wanted to give this as a give back to our women of color community and allies, because we want you to create a sustainable life outside of work. And 4, if you would like to see how to work with me and my team to create a more sustainable life where you can continue being a human being, then schedule a complimentary legacy, business, and career review call where you will receive 3 action items towards your business or career. And you could go to elainelu.com/call.